I really wanted to like this book. Hi, hello, my name is Fatima, and today we're going to talk about the book Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Disclaimer, I'm not like hating on a book just for the sake of hating on a book. I didn't enjoy a lot of the stuff in this book, and I wanted to talk about it and rant about it. It has been a couple weeks since I read it, and so I've calmed down a little bit since then, but I did not have a good time reading this book, but I wanted to like it because it has so many tropes that I love. It literally has so many tropes. So it has like an enemies to lovers thing. It has the childhood best friends to like lovers thing. They have the fake dating thing. They have the the guy that's helping you with the fake dating thing makes you become gorgeous. Also, this review will be spoilery, so there will be spoilers. So if you don't want that, maybe pick a different video. But this book, basically, it's about this girl who is in her senior year of high school, and when she was younger, she lost her mom, and her mom used to watch rom-coms all the time, like romance movies all the time. And so she's really attached herself to this idea of wanting a life that is like a rom-com, or wanting a love story that is exactly like a rom-com. And obviously you can see why that's problematic, etc. But the story is supposed to be like a feel-good, very like simple, easy read type of thing. But the thing that I hated most about this book was how insufferable this main character was. I don't remember her name. Liz. Yeah, her name was Liz. She was so insufferable. I took some notes because when I read a book, or I like to listen to audiobooks, and so when I listen to the audiobooks, I like to take like notes on my phone for like to just like put my thoughts on the screen. And so you can see my thoughts here. I have it on my laptop here, and so I will show you. Like, I don't know how to scroll like this. All of this is all of the feelings I had for that book. Oh, and here's a Goodreads thing I got. Like, that's all on just this book. I'm still scrolling. This is still all in the same book. And then that's the next book that I read. So, this book had tons of things I disliked, and usually when I'm reading a book, I don't annotate, though I like the idea of annotation, but when I'm reading, I do need somewhere to put my thoughts, and so it doesn't like crowd up my brain and I can focus. And so that's why I like listening to audiobooks as well, so I can do other things while I'm listening to the audiobook, and I'll usually just like write quickly how I'm feeling in that moment. So a lot of these thoughts are just like disjointed, but I wrote a good amount of them down. And then I summarized the things that I had gripes with, and I want to talk about those gripes that I had. So, the main thing I had a problem with is the main character, and I'm just referring to my list that I wrote here. The main character. So there's lots of things about this main character that I really, really dislike. Let me say, I know she's traumatized, and I know her mom died, and I know that she's going through it and she doesn't know how to process her grief, and it feels like everyone has moved on except for her. I get it. I understand why she is traumatized. I get it. However, she has such a like victim complex about it. And again, I'm not saying that it's like you can deal with grief however you want to deal with grief, but she was insufferable to me. Okay? I think the only thing I liked about this book was the cute little kiss scene that they had. But anyways, the main character, insufferable, selfish. She was a compulsive liar. She consistently lied to her best friend. She was a bad friend. And like, the book tried to do this thing where they made her like, they were trying to stay away from that idea of like she's not like other girls, but she was exactly like how YN is portrayed, or the not like other girls type of girl, except she was insufferable. She was rude. She was delusional, because all she's ever known for romance stuff is romance books. I'm getting heated just talking about this. All she's ever known is seeing how like movies portray romance, which is toxic a lot of the times. And when she's called out of like, that's not how it's like in real life, she's like, la la la, whatever, you can be delusional, I guess. She's quirky, Because again, the book tries to do that thing where she's like not like other girls. The main character, she has a main character syndrome, and I get it. She is the main character of this book, but she was I oh my god, and she was always so jealous of the other girls around her. Like for no reason. Like there was a scene in the book, spoilers. There's a scene in the book where when she was in elementary school and her mom like passed away like a year ago or something, or like recently. There's this popular girl in her class that she's like has a vendetta for because the popular girl in her class looked at her weirdly and got lunches from her mom with handwritten notes. And she's so jealous of this girl because what? Because she's pretty? Because she gave you a dirty look? And I get it, girl world is different, and girl world can like literally mean like the passive aggressive, but nowhere through this book did I ever think that this other character, Lainey, was a malicious person. She was just vibing with her friends the entire time. It's not her fault that she's confident and beautiful, and you're not. I'm sorry. Like, what? Also, she was jealous that this other girl got handwritten notes from her mom because she didn't have a mom, and she felt like this other girl was doing it to spite her. How about nobody else cares about your life as much as you do? Like that's all it is. And like this girl's allowed to have a mom who loves her, and she's not trying to push it in your face because your mom died. Like the world doesn't revolve around you, girl. And it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. Like she can't think outside of herself to think, oh, other people have lives. Other people can process grief. Other people can have different opinions about different things and not fit in my exact boxes that I have. And she knows she has like a victim complex, so she knows she does like a lot of bad things, but she like alleviates, like tries to soothe herself by saying like, oh yeah, I know I'm a bad friend, but like whatever. I don't even know how to explain it, because like she'll acknowledge that she's a bad friend and she'll acknowledge she's a bad person sometimes. And I get it, she's a teenager and things like that happen. But like, she doesn't do anything to actually change her situation. She doesn't change anything about herself to be perceived better. She, also the main character, tends to do this thing where she will categorize and label people, same with this jealousy thing with that Lainey girl. She'll categorize and shove people into boxes, and then when they don't fit her idea of what it is like to be in that box, she's like shocked that people are people and can be multifaceted and have a whole bunch of different personality traits instead of what she pinpoints. She's like, oh, you're the popular girl, so this is how you have to act. You're the main love interest man, this is how you have to act. And like, that's not how people are. And so when they call her out on this and being like, oh yeah, Lainey actually is like goes to charities and blah blah blah, also mission trips, okay, then like she's like shocked that people can be outside of her perceived idea of what they can be. Editing Fatima here, she'll also get mad at people who do the same thing that she has been doing. So when people think a certain way about her, she's like, you don't know me. And then when West calls her out about how she doesn't know Michael as he is today, she's like, I think I do know him. But then gets mad that Michael doesn't know her as she is today. I don't mean to be heated, but like talking about this book makes me heated. She over romanticizes things to the point of if it doesn't go her way, it's almost like she has like a complete meltdown. And the thing is, I don't mind a character that over romanticizes things. Like one of my favorite books, Once Upon a Broken Heart, she over romanticizes everything. She's so delusional, and I love her for it. This character is just insufferable, and I didn't love her for it. Also, I hate this idea like she has in her brain that nobody else in the world can understand grief. That nobody else in the world has ever felt her feelings about grief. You're not unique in your experience of grief. When other characters, she's like, oh, nobody understands how I feel about this stuff. Like, they will never understand. It's because, first of all, she doesn't communicate it, which I get it. She's young, she's grieving, she doesn't know how to process her trauma. But, like, the idea that she's the only one who's ever experienced anything bad in her entire life is mind-boggling. And again, that doesn't mean she's not allowed to feel grief. When Wes is like, oh yeah, my grandma died and I also understand grief, she's like, what? He understands grief? Girl, so many people understand grief. And it's weird. It's weird that she has like this complex of like nobody else in the world can understand her, when she's never voiced it out loud ever, and also never looked outside of herself. She's very self-centered, very selfish about her viewpoints about life, and it's crazy to me. My next big gripe was the stepmom. First of all, the main character was unnecessarily rude to her, and again, I get it, she's grieving, but that was uncalled for. Also, the main character, first of all, she's a pick-me, but so is her stepmom. I can't be the only one that thinks that this stepmom is kind of a pick-me. She's supposed to be also not like other girls. She's cool. And that's cool and all. And she's an adult. But like, also she has like weirdly inappropriate conversations with these teens. I get these teens are like almost adults, but they're still like teens. Like it's weird. Like she has this conversation about about her reality TV shows and like sex and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's fine. They know, they're old enough to know about this stuff. And I like teach sex ed and I love teaching sex ed, but I don't know. It felt like it crossed the line there. I don't know. It felt weird. And I didn't like that interaction. I will put it on screen, I guess, of the passage that I'll highlight it and talk about, I'll show you the passage that I'm talking about. But it was wild to me. I do feel bad for the stepmom because she's clearly trying to gain a connection with the stepdaughter, and so much of like Liz's trauma, she's just like scared that this stepmom figure will replace her mother and her memory of it. Like, you can have multiple people that care about you and not erase what other people have done for you, if that makes sense. It's like if you get married and you have wedding photos, and then you get mad at somebody being in the wedding photos because you're no longer your friend. In that moment in time, that was someone who was special to you, and I think that's okay to understand that in that moment of time, that person was important. And things can change, and people can leave, and people can come, and people, you know, it's life. It's called life. And people will be there, some people won't, and that's okay. Also, Helen, stepmom, she was trying to be their friend, and I get it. She's trying to bond with them, but she was trying to be their friend, not another adult, which was a little weird to me. Also, there's another scene in there that really irked me. It's the burger scene. And so, like, there was a moment when, you know, they're trying to do that thing where she's like, she's not like other girls because she can eat burgers. But they tried to be self-aware about it. And they're like, oh yeah, society views women who eat burgers as, like, not like other girls, or, like, fat or whatever. I don't know. Like, cool. I don't know. They were trying to be self-aware about it, and they're like, oh, it's society's ideas of like blah blah blah, and you can't have a burger or whatever, as like Wes said. But I'm like, or it could just not be a big deal. If you're trying to make it not a big deal, you're making it a big deal by making it not a big deal. Does that make sense? You didn't have to talk about the burger at all. They could have just gone to a burger joint and I would have cared less. It doesn't matter. I feel like I'm not very eloquent about this, but, you know, it is what it is. Another gripe that I had, Wes is kind of bland. I'm sorry. He's supposed to be like this super cool, popular, nice guy, but also like a little bit of a jerk because that's how Liz sees him, and he's fine, I guess, comparatively to a lot of like romance leads. Like, I guess he has kind of a personality, but he's just kind of bland. I'm sorry. He was nice, I guess. So, I forgot to mention this in my video, but Wes, I don't know if this was just a way to get under Liz's skin, but sometimes when Wes spoke about like the romance stuff, it was very demeaning, as if Liz's interests are not valid just because she likes rom-coms. I don't care if she likes rom-coms. Let her like rom-coms. She can be delusional, I guess, but like, she shouldn't base her life on rom-coms, and she should understand that there's a difference between fiction and real life, which she doesn't seem to grasp. But Wes basically bashing on her for liking rom-coms rubbed me the wrong way near the beginning of the book, and that only really happened near the beginning of the book. It didn't really happen near the end of the book, and I don't know, again, if that was a way for him to get under Liz's skin and like tease her or taunt her. But thing of like, if a boy likes you, he'll tug on your braids. I'm like, okay, whatever. There's another two smaller things that I didn't like about this book, is that I don't care for the playlist thing. I guess that was like cool for some people. I just didn't care for it. And also, I don't like pop culture references in my books because it dates the book. And it's just like it comes off as cringe when you try to read it in the future, and I don't like it. I guess I never gave you my star rating. I gave this book 1 star. The thing is, I see the merit in it. I get why people liked it because it's like an easy rom-com. It's all the tropes that you love in a romance book, and that's fine. Like I wanted to like it, and one of my friends recommended this book. That's why I was like, oh, I'm gonna love it. It's going to be like a fun rom-com, turn your brain off type of thing. And like it would be if the main character wasn't so insufferable to me. She had such a victim complex, and I couldn't get past it. I couldn't. Also, I get that for teens, every decision is their whole life. That is, I get it. I'm a high school teacher. I understand. The thing is, like, have a backbone, girl. Oh, also the way she treated Jocelyn. Jocelyn was the only one calling her out for her delusions. And yeah, she was probably harsh about it and made the main character feel like she couldn't be vulnerable with herself with Jocelyn. But also, she was a bad friend, like, to Jocelyn. She was a horrible friend. She continuously lied to Jocelyn to her face. She could have just said, hey, I don't want to go dress shopping because I thought this was always something that I was going to do with my mom, and I'm a little hesitant to do it because, like, she could have communicated. Again, I get she's young. She doesn't know any better. And also, like, with the proposal with Michael, you saw that Wes rejected you, and I get it. You're like, okay, then that must mean that I have to say yes to Michael. Or you could have just said no and stick by your guns. If you like this boy and this other boy is like coming on to you and you didn't feel it anymore for him, like, I think it's unfair for both of you. Maybe it was just supposed to be like a friend thing. That's fine. They were both pretty clear about that. You could have just gone with Jocelyn and your friends. And I don't see like what's the big deal. Because even when I was in high school, I never understood the big deal of like the dating culture thing. Of like any of that. Me and my friends, we went together and had a wonderful time. I don't get the whole like you need to have a date. You have to have a date. Otherwise you're like, I don't know. I don't even know. It had all of the tropes that I thought I would like in this book because like, again, and it's not like, this was not true like enemies to lovers. So much books that are like said as enemies to lover is usually just a miscommunication trope disguised as enemies to lovers or like a rivalry book to lovers. One of my favorite tropes is enemies to lovers. Like, I love that trope, and so I was like, I'm gonna love this trope. And I love the fake dating trope. That's like one of my favorite things. Forced proximity, love it. And I was like, oh, this book sounds great. It's gonna be a fun time. We have like, it was just exactly like every other rom-com, but like worse because the main character was so insufferable. And I don't know, maybe it's just because now I'm older and like that type of like love story doesn't appeal as much to me in terms of like them being so young, and maybe I just want more adult themes. And maybe like I've never been a type of reader that likes purely romance stuff. Again, I do love romance stuff, but I usually want there to be some sort of like other element in the book. So usually like it'd be a fantasy background or some political intrigue that's happening, or I don't know, like other things that are going on instead of just pure romance. And not to say that I don't like pure romances, it's just like that it's not what I tend towards. But again, it had all the tropes that I would have loved. And so I was like, okay. And it was recommended by a friend. So I was like, and I trust this friend. So I was like, okay, let's try this out. And it was popular. And I tend to like popular books for the most part, kind of. I don't know if I agree with that anymore. When I was younger, I used to like a lot of popular books. And then, you know, as you grow, you start to have ideas about what you like in reading and your tastes, etc. And you start to branch out. And you start to realize like what you like and what you don't like, etc. And so like, nowadays, I'm less inclined to like love the popular books just because they're popular or because the vast majority likes them. But again, just because something's popular doesn't mean I won't like it. There's plenty of books that are popular that I love, and you'll see them, they're on my shelves. And again, I'm not gonna try to bash on something that you like. If you like this book, I understand why you would like this book. It's supposed to be a fun time. It just wasn't a fun time for me. And just because I like something doesn't mean that you have to agree with my opinion about this. I just needed somewhere to rant about it. Though I will say that at the end of the audiobook, there was like a sliver of the sequel series. And I think I might like that sequel book a lot more than I like this book. I don't like second chance romances. I'm like, ugh. But if there's no cheating involved, fine. I'm not a huge fan of second chance romances. It's never appealed to me. But it seems like the vibe of the second book is very different from the first book. given the Goodreads rating. And it's very like weird to see like a second book have lower star rating than the first book. And so I'm like, okay, if this was well liked by the majority of people and then now they're not as well liked, I think I might like that second book a lot more. And we're gonna get more into Wes's brain. Though it's like weird that they threw in a lot of character traits about Wes that just didn't. That was just, it just felt like it was thrown in there. You're like, oh, I have to give Wes a personality now. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good day / night or whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you in the next video.